Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you all are doing good. Did you do the homework that I gave you last time? Did you get a chance to apply that theory we discussed last time? We discussed about collection of causes, the causes coming together to create a unit. That's how you feel. But then, is that really a unit? Or is it still the collection of causes? That's what we discussed last time. Do you remember that I showed you a flower and we discussed about how a vehicle is being made, how the phones are being made, a pen? So yeah, last time we discussed about a flower. A flower? Yes, that's how you feel about it. That's how you feel once I show you this. But what is really behind it? It's just the causes are aligning to create something. It's just the causes. Even though you feel it as an entity, only the causes are lying behind. The petals, the stem, the reproductive parts. That's what's really there. But once they are in this arrangement, the mind recognizes it as a flower. Is there really a flower, or is it just the causes? I hope you must have done this homework. If you had done it, then you'll understand more in this chapter. Let's go a little bit deeper into this. All right. Of course, there are petals. If I take one of those, yeah, that's a petal, yeah? Can you see beyond that? Can you see beyond this petal? Can you, well, see, I don't mean that you use your naked eye, but in your mind, can you see something beyond this petal? Can you see what are the causes behind this? Can you name them? Of course, there are billions and zillions of cells. The cells, a collection of cells organized in this way, collection of cells organized into a certain shape, and now we call it, we have given a name, a petal. All right, let me show you another example. What about this? Of course, it doesn't take half of a second for you to recognize it. That's a leaf. Yeah, I agree with you. But again, let's dive deeper. Is it just a leaf? Or is it a combination of hundreds and hundreds of cells? What did you really perceive in the first go? Yeah, it's a leaf. Yes, of course, you know that this is made out of cells, but you recognize this as a leaf. What I want you to do is I want you to think beyond your perception, beyond what you recognize. I want you to think the truth, the reality. Okay, let me tell you something. You all must have done this in your high school. The organelles. This is a nucleus. And a mitochondria. And what about a Golgi? And the cell wall and the ribosomes. Okay. What do you call them? The organelles. The nucleus, mitochondria, Golgi, ribosomes, cell wall. What about a vacuole? You might call, mitochondria is a part of a cell. And nucleus, of course, it's a part of a cell. But I'm asking you, where's the cell? Is there a cell here? Or here? Or here? No, you can't find a cell here. But what if I draw this cell wall all around these organelles? How do you feel right now? How do you feel now? Do you feel the organelles, or do you feel it as, that's a cell? How was it manifested? How was it perceived? How did you perceive it like that way? I just drew the parts or the organelles. And why are you perceiving a cell? I didn't ask you to perceive a cell. I didn't ask you to recognize this as a cell. I just drew the parts or the organelles. But your mind, look at it. How amazing that ability. It combined, and now it's a cell. You must be wondering why that we are discussing about this kind of theory. Of course, we have the causes, and once the causes are aligned in a certain way, we give it a name. But of course, what really there are the causes. But now you perceive it as something totally different or something totally unique, something which you feel as a unit. But my dear fellows, is it really a unit, or is it just a combination of the causes? It's just the combination of the causes. Is there a cell, or are there organelles? It's actually the organelles arranged in a certain way, and now we have given a name. That's a cell. Why are we discussing about this? It's because this is a universal theory. Well, it's not this is the universal theory. Causes are aligning to give certain manifestations. Causes are always aligning to give you these perceptions, which you think as entities, which you perceive as entities. But are they really the entities, or are they really just the causes lying behind? And what about all the feelings that you have? The sorrows, the griefs, the happiness, anger, the stress, all sorts of those feelings. They are a combination of causes. I want you to think about those feelings. How you really come into understand them. How you really perceive these feelings. If everything in this world are formed like this, what about you? What about the self that you feel right in front of the screen? Is it an entity? You feel, of course, as an entity. But is it really an entity? I want you all to think about this. Who are you?